Good morning, Big Square, Rotoroo.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Happy HODL day. Woo, woo, woo. We love these days. Everything's in the red for the most part. Not everything, but most of it. You know, an interesting thing when you're watching the prices on CoinMarketCap, when you first pull up the site, they'll show you just the 24-hour change, and everybody sees all the red and goes, oh my God, the world is ending. For example, Ripple is down 32% in the last 24 hours, but it doesn't say what happened the week before. So on the right side, if you click View All, you have a bigger picture of what's going on here, which I just did, and absolutely, the last hour and the last 24 hours, a lot of red. But look at the 7-day. Remember, this is the way the crocodile teeth work, as Cliff High calls them. It'll build, price go up, people get in, and then slam. And then build, up, slam. If you're a hodler, hold on for dear life. You actually kind of like it when it gets slammed. It takes the sweat out of hodling when you get to highs. And then it gets a little too low and you're like freaking out about, oh my God, it's down 50%. What am I going to do? I wish I had sold then and bought then. If you're a hodler, if you get it in your mind, if you've been through enough of these, you just sit and you wait. You wait because it's going to go like this. If you pick the right cryptos, it's going to go like this. It's an upward hodl. So today, yeah, it sucks. We're down 20, 30, 40% on very little news. You know, the interesting thing is, Cliff's data since last year, middle of last year, I think he said it was, had Bitcoin at 13,888. And back then he said it was in February. And then the price jumped in like December to almost 20,000. And everybody's like, oh, Cliff, you got it wrong. You were too low in your prediction. I think it could be 13,888 come February. Remember, his data is all about, it's very, it's just in your face. His data is his data. It's the way he interprets it. And he had 13,888 for February 2018. Of course, when he made the call, Bitcoin was like at 2,000, 3,000 or something like that. So it didn't say what would happen in between, but we could end up at 13,888 come February. Another web bot hit. There's so many of them these days on the cryptos. But another thing that Cliff did say is that Veritasium would at some point challenge the value of Bitcoin, either in price or market cap. So if you look down here at Veritasium, it is doing actually very well. It's at 391. It hit I think it got up to close to 450 overnight, but it's hanging tough. Do I think Veritasium will rival the price of Bitcoin? I do, absolutely, because of what it is replacing. It's replacing the Goldman Sachses of the world and the JP Morgans and the big hedge funds. So much money to be made in Veritasium. But let's talk about a couple coins. Bitcoin. An interesting thought is Bitcoin. This was yesterday on Zero Hedge. Bitcoin future traders are quietly building a short position. Is that coming into play? Is the COMEX coming into play now in the Bitcoin world? I don't think so. Remember, in gold and silver, the value of the short positions is, was it 300 times the amount of physical metal available? That's how they rig the price. In Bitcoin, it's the reverse. I mean, we're talking short positions of volumes of around $200 million when the market cap of Bitcoin is $246 billion. So, no, the COMEX and the CME make no difference. So it's not a COMEX type situation going on here, at least not yet. When the COMEX Bitcoin trading gets into the 60, 70, 80 billion dollars, then we might want to take notice. But right now it's nothing. It's ridiculous. And JP Morgan hasn't even let any of its customers in yet. Not that JP Morgan you want to follow what they're doing. Their silver position is going to be the thing that saves J.P. Morgan. It's estimated at 700 million ounces now. The vast. When you think about J.P. Morgan's silver short position on the COMEX and then their long position in physical, they'll just tell you, hey, this is a hedge. There's nothing wrong with hedging. Well, there is something wrong with 700 million ounces of physical silver in your possession because they busted the Hunt brothers and they only had 100 million ounces. And then they busted Warren Buffett and he only had 120 million ounces. So, yes, 700 million ounces is a big deal. And why is it allowed that JP Morgan do this and control it? Because they need to keep the system going, keep the unbacked fiat system going. And the only alternative was gold and silver before cryptos came around. So you can bet that there's a lot of manipulation going on in the cryptos, but hey, we're used to it. That's fine. Bring it on, baby, because you have to use a lot of physical cryptos. Not a lot, because these exchanges are all derivative exchanges. They're not real crypto exchanges. For example, let's look at Bitcoin. And we'll look at, if you go down here to Bitcoin, you look at markets. Look at the volume is almost $16 billion in the last 24 hours. And look at the volumes there. Bitfinance, Binance, OK. These are all derivative exchanges. Almost all of these exchanges, very close to all of them, deal in pools. So you put your crypto in, and that's a blockchain event. You're sending cryptos to this company called Bitfinex. They take your crypto and they play with it in the pool of trades, and it can trade 10 billion times back and forth using computers and derivatives. So yes, it is a derivative market there, but it's harder because once people start pulling out their crypto from these exchanges, the exchanges have to refill. They got to go find crypto somewhere, so they got to buy it on another exchange. That's how the price goes up. It's very complicated, but if you've been in this long enough and you learn this, HODL, hold on for dear life. That's all you got to do. It's really the easiest investment you've ever had. Find the right coins and tokens and then HODL, hold on for dear life. Because you know within a year or two from right now, the gains will vast outperform anything other type of investment. And you don't have to really do anything. You buy, you sit and HODL. Now, if you haven't bought yet and you're not in yet, get in there. Get in there. I know in times of volatility like right now, I'm sure Coinbase and all the big exchanges are down and have technical problems, blah, blah, blah. They don't want people buying at the lows. That's the other problem is the exchanges are completely brutal to deal with. Almost in the high volume times, they're almost impossible to deal with. But if you haven't bought anything yet, go in there and buy some big ones. Buy some. You can get what's the most exciting? I don't deal in Ripple coin. That's a banker coin, not just because it's bankers dealing with it. You know, they own most of it, and it's not decentralized. It's a centralized coin, so you know it defeats the purpose of the blockchain, if you ask me. Hang on one second here. I got an alarm going off. Okay. So yeah, I don't deal in Ripple coin, but I have no doubt that the banks will bring Ripple coin probably up higher than Bitcoin at some point. It's a moral decision that I'm making not dealing with Ripple, but it's also I know that when the banks fail, Ripple fails as well. So whereas the other cryptos they won't fail when the banks fail, they'll probably boom to skyward numbers. I don't know about numbers because if the banks fail, you're not looking at any money trading hands. You're looking at cryptos trading hands. Everybody's running over to Shapeshift or something like that. So yeah, it gets complicated. We're far away from the banking failures. They're going to rig this banking system for another 4 or 5 years, probably up to 10 years. At least that's in Cliff's data. So yeah, just hang on and great time to get involved with Salt. You can get a crypto-backed loan and get it's that bridge between the old system and the new system. And you can pay off your Salt at double the price of the coin today. I mean, watch my video from yesterday and you'll get it. All right, what other coins? Ethereum is holding pretty strong. I'm kind of loving Ethereum over $1,000. Remember, the big money that comes in, they're going to want to buy the big name coins. Bitcoin, obviously, number one. Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. I think those are, I think, the big ones that the big money, the institutional money, the bankster money will all be comfortable enough with. They're not going to go out on a limb and buy a whole bunch of them easy go, although they should. But it takes time for them to learn about this stuff and learn what these tokens mean. And tokens are really a form of barter within a closed system, and it's an unbelievable alternative to a monetary system, a barter system using tokens. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what's going to really shine. Yes, we'll need some kind of Bitcoin well, Ethereum's really a platform, but Bitcoin and Litecoin as a means of exchange, we're going to need some of that. But I think the big money is going to be in the tokens and businesses that use those tokens if the business is sound. And we're starting to see products come out from companies like Veritasium is very close, but Salt and Populous, PPT, Amizigo, have a company called Dent. And it's wireless data that gets exchanged, and it went up crazily from pennies to whatever. Very thinly traded, so who knows what's real. But all these companies that do stuff, they do things besides being money. They're tokenized, so it's a form of barter. And we all know from our monetary history, why do we need money? Because bartering is too difficult. Bartering is the best form of exchange. It's a peer-to-peer transaction, and you've got a house you want to sell, and the bread baker wants to make it. It makes that wants to buy the house, makes that transaction very difficult. He's got to give him a million loaves of bread. But if you can tokenize the bread and you tokenize the house, then it becomes easier as a form of barter. And that's kind of where the argument that we have to have money kind of falls down in the crypto world. We'll see what happens. That's a long way out, and I usually think a long way out. So 10 years from now, they'll be saying, I can't believe I invested in a cryptocurrency when everything was going to tokenization, peer-to-peer exchanges like Veritasium is doing. So yeah, it's a tough thing to get your head around, but once you do, you're like, oh my God, you're way before the crowd. So yes, the cryptocurrencies will go a lot crazier earlier on, but then tokenization, people will figure out that's a better form of exchange than using any kind of cryptocurrency, I believe. But there's a store of value issue. Why people think Bitcoin is a better store of value than others is, it was the first mover. And I think BTC is not the original Satoshi Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash is the original. But BTC decided to try to pretend, or actually lock themselves up as the gold of the cryptos. And I think it suffers a little from that because, what good is gold? Gold is good when the monetary system is falling apart. Well, if we think the crypto monetary system is falling apart, then get some BTC. If you think it's sound based on math, then go out and get the other coins. That's just my take. So today is bargain day. In the last 24 hours, a lot of these coins are down 25, 30%. A lot were up 100%. So it's take your pick. But if you hodl, hold on for dear life. No worries. And you just kick back on these days. Hang out with your family. Don't watch the markets. Just let it go. It's going to run its course. And then the big money is going to try to get back in. And, the cryptos will be all in green. Oh, my God, they're going crazy again. And you can either play that game, be a trader. God, I wish I sold at the highs, and I wish I bought at the lows. You can play that game. The thing you have to remember is every time you do that, you're going to create a tax event for most jurisdictions. Because when you sell a crypto to buy another crypto, that has been defined now in the new tax bill as a asset sale, just like a stock. You sold one stock and you're buying a different stock, you got to pay capital gains or write off the losses. That's the other thing people got to remember. If you lost some cryptos, keep track of it because you can write off those losses. And those of you who sold silver for crypto, you got a loss probably on your silver sale. And just keep track of it, and it nets against the gains in the cryptos if you sold any cryptos. I like to just hang on. The only trading I do is in my self-directed IRA. Everybody should be going to roadtoguru.com. Far left, there's an ad for perpetual assets. Click on that. Give Will and Gus a call because you can roll over your retirement account, most retirement accounts, not 401ks, if you're still with the company, but you can roll it over into a self-directed IRA, and you can trade cryptos within your IRA, and those aren't taxable until you retire. So that's a great avenue for trading cryptos. And if you don't want to sell crypto, obviously, but you need cash, go over to Salt Lending and set up a dashboard and get ready, sign up, get in line. There's 50,000 people waiting for loans at Salt, and they've just started and they're going gangbusters. Absolutely. And then you can pay back your Salt loan with Salt tokens at double the price at $27.50. A lot of maneuvering can be done right now. But for all the people who bought cryptos and have been through these ups and downs before, it becomes easier and easier over time. And yes, the fall of 50%, you see your portfolio get slashed in half. That's tough to deal with. But as long as you don't sell, you sit and hodl, and you wait for the next uptick. And you've seen them. Just go back to the old charts. That's the way it happens. It'll go up, 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 bang, up, 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 bang. And welcome to the new world of the cryptos. It's exciting. It's fun. We're changing the world. But remember, all that money still has to come in. Very little has come in. Everything from the old system needs to be transferred over to the new system. So this is going to be it. I would say by next week, these numbers you'll laugh at. You'll be praying and wishing you had bought Ethereum when it was around $1,052, and especially Litecoin at $243. Litecoin was ready to go, and it went from 230 to 300. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're getting in," and then somebody sold, and I think they're keeping a lid on it until it's time, but. Is time in the next couple of weeks probably. Lots of hints as to February, and February in Cliff's data is a really big month for the cryptos to start really taking off. So place your bets now. It's 8 days into January, and the insanity of boom, 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 boom has just started. I told you it'd be more volatile than normal because the big money only buys at times like now when everything's red. That's when they buy, and yeah, if you have any money left, go ahead and buy, or maybe make some moves, shift into a different crypto that you think is way undervalued. And if you go to roadtoguru.com and you're a private road member, go to the 15 of I think are the best picks in the cryptos that I've analyzed, and they've done extremely well in 2017, 2000. These are really 2018 type of calls though. So as well as we did in 2017, 2018 probably should be 10 times as big as we did back then. That's how crazy it's going to get. Anyway, this is Big Square, roadtoguru.com. Sit and hodl. HODL-ing Dayz. We'll talk to you later.